How's your harvest today? One box? Okay, we'll go down here and look at it. Saving this grass for the calves. Got a lot of broadleaves I need to take care of in here. Same way out here, a lot of sunflowers growing. We'll try to take care of a lot of these once the picking is done. That's the problem with that, but go out here. I need to string up I'm gonna string up tomatoes, and I'm gonna also spray a fungicide. I'm gonna I don't think we got that much rain, but
no, I don't even think
yeah,
I measured.
Yeah, nice. Anyway, it's a cool morning, ain't it? Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on up here. This lettuce here, you planted just the other day, and as you recall, it was laying over on its side. Like some of them are still laying on their side, but a lot more are getting a lot more erect out there. And so that's good. Anyway, everybody's growing very well. Need to get some, a little bit of fertilizer on these tomatoes, just to protect us from our arch nemesis blossom end rot. But let's go ahead and focus on getting these tomatoes strung up, because they are branching out. Well, to begin this, I went ahead and I put the box on my belt. It comes with that, and I'm gonna come up to about right there, maybe give it about a 4-inch raise. Use plenty of string to get whatever you can to get that to stick. Now, just as simple as me walking down the edge down here and stringing them up. So let's go ahead. I'll do this side and I'll come back the other way. This, yeah, much better. You want to keep whatever tension you can. What are you doing, Mooch? Oh, you're coming in. Old Mooch said, I'm coming in. You're not going to keep me out. No matter. Well, you knocked over my thing. You knocked over the GoPro. What are you doing? It cost money. You were free. All right. You want to go outside? Come here, Mooch. Mooch. You big dummy. Here you go. Mooch. Kee, 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 kee. Kee, 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 kee. There you go. Go on outside. Good boy. So now I have the tomatoes kind of picked up in here with that one. You want to maybe walk on back and kind of tuck in anything. Or in this case, you know, sometimes you get a little high. Right there, you can adjust some of them strings down a little bit to help catch a few more, but definitely helped out this row. Let me continue on and keep it going here. So maybe it'll be easier to see on this next video, but just with the where it's located. But just keep it low. See how this guy's really dragging out into the aisleway? That's all right. We're going to tighten it all up. Keep it low. Bring it in and raise them up. And repeat. Go low. Wrap it around the post. If you need to, you can always cheat. That works just fine. Just depends on the tomato. And give it a good tighten. And going around. Yep, just get them underneath of them big leaves there, them big limbs. Let's bring it in for some good height. There we are. Yeah. Let them know who's boss. Go low and tighten them up. All right, so I have all 4 rows right now that I strung up today. They're all done stringing. What I'll do is I will walk down the rows here and look for, like this guy right here, how he's, it's a little high, but we can get him caught. Let's take this guy here. I have a sucker, and I want to keep him inside of the basket. So I just go ahead, walk on down, and firmly suggest where these guys need to go. Here's another one right here, and this is the first string, but he's there. So I just kind of walk on down and make sure these guys kind of get inside of the program. It'll make things a lot easier later on, not having quite as many sticking out. A person can go ahead and cut these off later on. You get too many of them and coming low, you can cut them off. But right now, I'm going to take every tomato I can get and just make sure they're all tucked inside of the string. There we go. Just be gentle. They can handle, they're not very brittle at this age. They're pretty flexible. There we go. And sometimes your bigger tomatoes, even as big as this, they get to leaning too much, and you might need to kind of help support them a little bit. Even like this guy, maybe put a limb up a little higher. You could even help secure him by twisting that gently on a string, offering additional support, convincing that guy to continue growing more vertical instead of laying down. Little things like that. You have this guy like there, but he's all right. He's all right. He's in there. This guy is wanting to, just because they were laying over. So that's the next thing I do after I get done stringing up tomatoes, is I make some suggestions to the tomato plants and verify that everything seems to be growing inside of the strings. Here's one he's right there. There we go. We'll get him in. He's in the program now. And there's another one. He ain't quite tall enough to do it, but there we go. You'll thank me, you know, you'll thank yourself later on when you're walking these aisleways and collecting tomatoes and things like that, by making sure that all of our tomatoes are growing inside of the strings. Believe me, there's some big advantages to just doing a little bit of work right now, keeping them in. Sometimes this doesn't apply, but sometimes you can take a tomato and hang it off of a string to add a little further support. Here I got posts where the plants are wanting to grow together. It makes it harder to string. You can use that string to kind of move the plant away from the, here's another one. Move the plant away from the post gently, so you're not constantly having to fight wrapping it up in the plant. But yeah, we can do things like that. Just little tiny things to save you time in the long run. This plant here is migrating toward the post. Let's bring it back over just a little bit and convince one of its limbs here to say, hey dude, that ain't cool. And let's continue him to where it grows outward. I'm just going to wrap that limb right there. So there's the leader now. It should be wanting to grow outward more. Little things like that. Another situation just like that. Just like that. He's growing into, the leader's growing into the post, so I don't want that when I'm trying to wrap string. So I'll just go ahead and take a minute and convince him to grow more inward. It'll make it easier for me when the plants are much older. Yep, same thing here I'm doing. I'm just gonna wrap that over here. Yeah, this is in the post right now, but this is not. So that's what's the advantage, is we're telling it to grow outside. Plus this one has a pretty big sucker growing right in there. So let's get him inside. There we go. Yeah, these are very good growing plants. Let's move him away from the post. He isn't real bad, but let's move him over. Just wrapping that limb there. So now that has that leader back over. I'm going to continue this on around the rest of the high tunnel here, and believe me, this is a good time. You're seeing we're getting blooms and that type of a thing. So by me handling the plants right now is also going to help us with the pollination of these plants. You can always take your hand here and bang the post. See how much that thing's shaking? You want to do that twice a day. Just walk down your aisleway and tamp your post. Now that we're getting strings on it, a little goes a long ways, if you notice. And me hanging up the string in the plants today definitely done the work, but just doing that little bit will ensure you have more pollinators. Now this guy ain't in, so let's get him in. That's it. So they get too much on them, or they get too much growth before you get back. They want to lay over. So by tomorrow, many of these that were wanting to lay over, well, they're going to change their attitudes. They're going to be literally, nautically speaking, they're going to be more vertical and that type of a thing. So let's get their attitudes right. Straighten up their attitude. There we go. And that'll help them be supported. And also, now that we're warm enough, we're getting a little breeze coming through here, a little tunnel ventilation. Notice how that's shaking the plants just by themselves. Now that they're supported, I don't have to worry so much about that. The plants I'm not worried about them snapping or breaking. Now those over there, They're just right at the last of their height before, you know, they have to be supported. But they do have some blooms on those plants over there. And that being said, well, we're going to, you know, this is going to help them pollinate some too. By Monday, I'll have the rest of the stakes put in here, and Delia's going to probably by Monday have the last row planted in here, you think, Delia? Yeah, probably. She's out there currently right now snapping off some fresh lettuce, getting that in her box. It's nice not having the grass coming through it, ain't it?
I mean, I could just grab a bunch and
look at that. Yeah, that is much better. No, that's much better, and you're able to pick out the ones you want, aren't you?
I'm getting the biggest ones.
Yeah, yep. So that's very exciting. Yeah, that's a big difference, because that was one of our complaints, or one of your complaints was,
One of my complaints.
One of your complaints is all the grass growing up in there.
Yep.
All right, well, we got to keep going here, because I got to get fungicide on the fields, on the strawberries. So, all right, we'll keep going. All right, I got my fumigate all loaded up and mixed. Time for me to head out to the strawberry field and protect these wonderful strawberries. Get going, I'm going to go around my cornfield, and I'd like to see how well they're coming up right now. It's been a few days, and so let's take a look at that. There's the blackberries. So this is the newest planted corn. Of course, it's a little too early for it to come up. But we'll get right down here. Woo, there it is. Yeah. Look at all that corn. I need to back up here. I'm gonna run over corn here on this edge. It caught me off guard. I got greedy. That looks like a pretty good stand. Yeah. I'll be dang. Just growing like field corn right now. Well, that's fine. Look at how nice that stand is. There's the field corn right next door. So we're neck and neck in growth. It was the right time of year to plant it out here. So that's good. We'll run on down here and start spraying them strawberries. That's vitally important right now. See how we still have blooms coming on here? Yeah. Make sure you get on top of them in case you have any blooms that are happening. In case you have any blooms that are and strawberries that are inside of the crown. These are kind of small, not like our ones over here. But yeah, we want to make sure everything gets covered. There's a tomato, strawberry that's turning there. That's a weed there. I don't know how he got by our watchful eye, but he did.